computer. That was all new. That all what I did right there was all fresh and new for me. So it was wonderful. So today we're going to get started on it's element 22. And it's really going to we're going to talk about some things that kind of some non-tangibles, some things that you can't really record or put your or necessarily monitor, or there's no 1 + 1 = 2, because we're going to talk about our well-being, our well-being. So there's some non-tangibles. Some people would call it your soft skills, that stuff that makes you tick and why you do what you do. But we're going to get started on that. And what we have to understand, Nancy and I read through this chapter today, and we don't want to get caught in the weeds, because it's easy to get caught in the weeds. So we're going to make sure we stay out of the weeds. But well-being is more important to our health than we understand. And what we mean by well-being is our purpose in life. Why do we do what we do? It's our purpose. So we're going to dig into that. I'm going to start by reading page 438 in the Life book. And I'm going to just read what Dr. A puts in here. So see if you guys can relate to any of this. I'm wondering if you can. Everybody but before we get into this, everybody ready for their 4th of July? Is everybody ready? No?
I feel like we've been celebrating the whole weekend. I'm ready
Well,
for Wednesday.
good for you. Good for you. Okay, good. All right, so here we go. You haul yourself out of bed, drink a cup of coffee, rush to the car, get to work, turn on your computer, answer your emails, grab a quick lunch, struggle to focus all afternoon, drive to the dry cleaners, stop at the grocery store, go home, fix dinner, watch a little TV, hit the bed to rest a few hours before getting it up and doing it all over again. Does anybody relate to any of that?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, next paragraph. And then it's the weekend. You get home late Friday night, you do chores on Saturday, sleep in on Sunday morning out of pure exhaustion, maybe spend some time at your favorite place of worship, watch some afternoon TV, but then just about the time of 60 Minutes or your favorite series comes on, you get a sinking feeling in your gut, because you know that in less than 12 hours, you're going to launch yourself into another chaotic, energy draining week of work. So I know that sounds really depressing, but we just do those things and we don't even think twice about it. Anybody relate to that? What are some feelings that you guys had when I read that? Anybody want to jump off mute, and what are some feelings you guys had? Yeah, Janet.
That's my day in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
week or month or year. It's like Groundhog Day every day.
Groundhog Day every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else feelings that they had?
Mine's a little different because I'm home more, but definitely just always the tasks, doing things, trying to keep things in order. And so you're constantly thinking about what do I have to do next?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So here's the lead question. What is the quality of your life? And now I'm preaching to me today too. Okay. So I'm asking myself, what is the quality of my life, your life? And there's 4 things. Are you overworked, overstressed, overweight, sleepless? Anybody relate? How about connecting to any one of those? Overworked, overstressed, overweight, sleepless. Which one of those things pop out to any one of you? Overworked, overstressed, overweight, or sleepless?
Oh.
Who's yawned? Who just yawned?
That was Timothy.
Okay.
Yes, it
His
was.
must be sleepless. His must be sleepless.
Right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we have a preoccupation with having the best stuff has taken us away from what really matters. Having the best stuff takes us away from what really matters. Do you know what really matters to you? That's our lead question tonight. What really matters to you? What really matters to me? Money and material goods won't make you happy unless you're happy to begin with. Right? So unless you're happy to begin with, unless you have well-being and fulfillment to begin with, material goods and money will not make you happy. Unless it sounds like a sermon, I know, but this really came out of the book. I think we're all faith people here. I think, but it really came out of the book. But it won't make you happy. So in our lives, there's so much. There's no such thing as security. Now, this is an odd statement. I want you to weigh in on this. In our lives, there is no such thing as security.
Mhm.
What do you guys think about that?
It's
Anyone
Well,
wanna
true.
weigh in on
especially
that?
in these times. Yeah.
What's that? Who's saying what?
Especially in these times, the bottom can fall out. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
bottom could fall out, especially in these times. Yep, yep.
Mhm.
Daniela?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the bottom can fall out, any day. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Right.
Yep. Okay, anybody else?
For me, the perspective is that, in the world there isn't security, but my security is in Jesus. So I guess I can't relate to that statement.
Yeah.
Because he's my provider and he's Emmanuel and
Yeah.
he's all of that. And so everything is cast to him, and I just expect that he will provide everything and take care of us the way we need to be. And I don't look to the world as my source or my
Yep.
resource. I don't look to Optavia as my source or my resource. It's just but I mean, it's a help and it's an awesome thing, but in the end, it's Jesus that I look to. And so that's just a really hard statement for me to,
Yeah.
yes,
And
to agree.
And Danielle, I think that's the point that Dr. A is making, is that the material part of our world, those things, that material goods and money, that is not a secure, that does not guarantee security at any point. And we've all lived through those situations, 2008, 2009. We all have felt that, the pandemic, whatever it is. So, but what we want to do with that going into the next part is we want to create not only optimal health, that's why we're on this journey, but we want to also create optimal well-being, that the inside has to be first. The inside stuff has to be first versus the outside stuff. So what is the key to well-being according to the books is to have a purpose. Why do I exist? Why am I here? What is my purpose in life? Why do I get up in the morning and put my boots on? Maybe the ladies don't wear boots, but your high heels. But whatever it is, what do you get up when you get ready to go in the morning? Why do I do those things? So with the world that is in chaos, unless we have control of our intent, unless we have control, and I think that's what Daniela is talking about, unless we have control of our purpose, then we'll get caught up or sucked into the black hole of the chaos that's around us. We will get pulled in somewhere, somehow, this vacuum that is around us, unless we have control of our intent or we know why we exist and what our purpose is. So we want to build our lives around what matters most. So what matters most to you guys? What matters most?
My relationship with Jesus Christ.
Okay, your relationship with Jesus Christ. That's what, all right, Karen. Anyone else? What matters most?
Family, being around for family, to be there for them.
Okay, family and being with them. Anyone else? What matters most? I would say faith and family for me. Yep, faith and family. Okay, so what matters most? So we begin by organizing our days by what matters the most. So do we do this? So here's the question. Do we do this? Do we organize our day by what matters the most? Or do we just go through our day? Do we organize our day around what matters the most? Are you doing what you really like to do or want to do? I just know this. Nancy was going to talk about this too, but I worked, you know, I was I'm still pastor about, but 14 years ago I had to go back to work full time, and I started working in a factory, and started on the floor, and I making $10 an hour, and then I became the office manager and worked there for 13 years. And at first I liked it, but then I started to realize that my family was getting what was left over. I know I like leftovers when it comes to food. I don't know if anybody else does, but I really like leftovers. But my family does not like what's left over from their dad and their husband at the end of the day, right? So they were getting what was left over, and I was spending my best at the place I worked. And eventually I said, I don't want to do this anymore. That's what I said. I don't want, I put my own dreams on hold. I've set them aside. I set them over on the shelf, and I'm helping someone else fulfill their dream. I'm spending my best for someone else while my dream was being put on the side. And so that became very frustrating and very, I don't know, very frustrating. And I wasn't even going to work happy anymore. So it was last year at this last March, it was my last day at work. And I went into Optavia full time. Has it been a struggle? Well, certainly. Has it been fulfilling? Way, way more fulfilling. So those are some things. So are you doing what you really want to do? And I think that's when coaching can help us some ways. You know, if you're a coach or not a coach here, coaching helped me become a better coach, and it also helped me be more fulfilled in helping people meet their goals. So what matters most? Are you financially stressed? Are you at financial peace? Do you have financial peace? So there are three things. We're going to talk about extrinsic or outward situations. There's three things that Dr. A brings up that we can measure outward things by. The number one is attractiveness, and that means how appealing am I to others. He talks about attractiveness. How appealing am I to others? Number two, fame. How important and well known am I? And number three, wealth. How rich am I? Those are really, he says, the three things that drive this world outside of our well-being. It drives it. How attractiveness, fame, and wealth. And so if you're using these to judge how successful and happy you are, it's not going to work. Right? How's everybody doing so far with this? Anybody have a comment? Okay. What's that? Someone say something?
I just asked Gary if he had a comment, because he does
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock. He waits for me to talk. I agree with it all so far.
Okay, all right. So if you and I are judging success and our happiness by attractiveness or fame or riches, it's not going to work. What we want to do is look at the intrinsic or the not the outside stuff, but the inside stuff. And so it's about what fulfillment is. And fulfillment is a sense of life matters. Life really matters. And I have meaning and purpose. Life matters and I have meaning and purpose. How many people do you know that really don't know what their meaning and purpose are? You know a few of those? I used to be that way till I met Jesus. That was 1982. But he made a huge difference in my life, fulfillment and purpose. But it's about fulfillment. Number two, it's about our days being filled with what I love to do. Are my days being filled with what I love to do? And the third one is I have a strong sense of self-worth, that I know that I have value. Dr. A used the word pride. I didn't like that. I scratched it out. But have a high sense of pride, so I scratched it out. I said I have a strong sense of value, right? That I'm valuable, you're valuable. So what does that look like? What's it look like if when I feel fulfilled? What's it look like when my day is filled with the things that I love? And what's it look like when I have a strong sense of self-worth or value? Well, it looks something like this. It looks like satisfying and personal relationships. He spent a whole page, guys, on how to, if you're married, on how to love your spouse. Whole page, which I thought was amazing in a health book, right? And for those of us that are single, because I've been single twice, I didn't get married till I was 30, and then I was single again after my wife passed away for 5 years. And so how to love the people that you love, that are important to you, to make sure those relationships are good, satisfying personal relationships. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to be a little preacher. We're all saved here, aren't we? So we're going to do a little preacher here. So how are your relationships? Are they good? I don't know. I'm not going to give an altar call or anything, but are they good? If there's when I ask that question and somebody pops into your mind that says, no, that's probably something you need to think about and work on. I don't know if my son-in-law or my daughter-in-law or or my dog, I don't know how that's going, but how are those relationships? Satisfying personal relationships. That's number one. Number two, growing as an individual. How's that going for you and I? We could ask it this way. Am I basically the same person I was a year ago from now? A year ago on this date, have I grown? Have I, as a human, have I grown? Has my personal development taken a step up? So that's growing as an individual. I believe, what do you think? Do you guys think Optavia provides a good spot for that? What do you guys think?
Yes, definitely. Personal growth. That's what we're talking about, right?
Right, personal growth.
Yeah.
How's that helped you most, Marie?
It actually has helped me kind of look at myself a little bit more and the reasons I do things, and kind of connect those dots,
Yeah.
with my habits. So, and then also
Habits.
being a coach obviously has helped me a ton because it's challenging me, challenging myself to be better every day. So
That's
it's been
good.
really valuable.
That's good. Good. Anybody else about maybe, and there's other, maybe it's just not Optavia, maybe there's other things, other places, but how have you grown through in Optavia environment?
For me, it has helped me to step out more, and it's I guess given me more confidence.
Yeah.
With the things that I've been dealing with for so long. It just gives me more confidence that even in the midst of adversity, you can still go forward.
Yeah, that's really good, Daniela. And I just want to say for both of you, but Daniela, I've just seen you just pop. I mean, you're like, here I am. And it's really good,
Well, part of it too is I can't see what your facial expression is when I'm
oh,
looking
I've
at you.
raised up my hands like praise.
But it's also helped me to just reconnect with some people that the relationship has been broken over the years. Because sometimes when you go through some very major things in your life, you really do find out who your friends are and who they aren't. And there's a whole lot of people sometimes who don't come up alongside you or come with you. And
Very
so
true.
for me, that's helped me to bridge back to them, through prayer also. But this has kind of given me a avenue
Yeah.
where I have been away from Facebook for a long time, but I came back for a totally different purpose. I haven't done my video yet because I'm a writer, not a speaker, and it's kind of scary for me. But I came back for a different purpose, but then this happened at the same time. And so it just kind of, that exploded out first because that came at the same time, and this was fast and easy and I could write. I didn't have to do a video, and I just think that's helped me to grow in that way.
Good. Anyone else? For me, I talk about this often, that everything that I learn, well, most everything I learn in Optavia is transferable to my faith. I haven't found anything yet that says, oh, that's weird. And everything in my faith seems to be transferable to the structure and content. But one of the most impacting statements that I've tried to learn is that I am where I'm at because of me. I can't blame Marie for it, or I can't blame the dog. I can't blame the work. I can't blame the world. I can't blame the economy. I can't blame the president. I am where I am because of me, because of the choices I've made. And that's been real impacting to me. And I don't know if I would have or could have said that without going through what I've gone through in the last 5 years. So that's really important. So the first one is satisfying relationship. The second is growing as an individual. And the third one is contributions to your community where you live. Contributing, giving in to the people around you and to situations of your community around you. That all adds to well-being. So fulfillment equals success. That's what success is when you're fulfilled. And there's this chart that Dr. A puts in here, and I'm not going to get into this too far because you can get caught up in some weeds here, but so I think it's on page 444, I think. Nope, wrong book. I'll find it. 444. But he has some good charts in there that you can look at. I'd encourage you to. But he talks about in there about fulfillment. It's a well-being chart. And I just want to highlight a couple ones of that. And when I'm fulfilled, um, when I have success, but I don't have fulfillment, he says that's when you're worn out. When you have success but no fulfillment, you can feel worn out. Anybody relate to that? You just feel wore out. You know, you're making good money, you've got the Porsches in the driveway, you know, right, Porsches in the driveway, you know, the house is whatever, but you're unfulfilled, and so therefore you feel worn out. Another combination he gives is if you feel the intrinsic is not, you're not successful outwardly, and your inside life is not very good, and he calls that being burnt out. When you're working really hard and you're not going anywhere, and inside you maybe have depression or unfulfillment, he calls that being burnout. So fulfillment is when the inside is running the outside, right? That's what fulfillment is. When our inside stuff is running our outside, when our inside stuff is healthy and it's running our outside stuff with intent and purpose. So fulfillment equals success. So take a look at the chart I just did, page 444. We just talked about burnout and worn out. So finding out what really matters. So here's what I challenge you guys to do this week. Write down 2 things that matter most to you. We all talked about Jesus and our family, but write 2 or 3 things down that matter to you. And number 2, is your day organized as making sure that those things are being fulfilled, that those things are at the top, and are those things going throughout your entire day? So that's the assignment. So finding what, if you want external things, if you want, I mean, who doesn't want some external things? I'm going to raise my hand. I want some external things. Anybody else want any? So just me and Marie, and then no one else wants any. Oh, Daniela. Okay, anybody else want external things? Okay, anybody else? There's just 4 of us. So we want external things. Yeah, Betty does too. All right. So Karen's all fulfilled. So anyway, so if we want external things, here's the question we need to ask ourselves. If you want them, that's great. But make sure the reason why you want them. Ask yourself, why do you want them? Why do I want whatever it is? And make sure that reason or the reasons why line up with your fulfillment. Do I want some external things? Of course I do. Of course I do. But ask yourself why, and then make sure those reasons why line up with your fulfillment, line up with your faith, line up with your family, line up with whatever you put down as being fulfilled. Make sense? It happens too easy that what we have runs us rather than who we are. It happens too easy. It's too easy for that to get flip-flopped. So 7 little things you can watch the recording. 7 little things that help you in your fulfillment. Number 1, follow your passion. What are you passionate about? I spent 3 months in Arizona, which was really wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I saw many of you face to face while I was there, met you face to face. But here's what I had. I was about 3 weeks in, and I told Nancy, I got to preach somewhere. I have to do it. I gotta share the gospel. I gotta preach. So I started preaching on Wednesday nights at the church. So anyway, follow your passion. Number 2, relationships. Make sure your relationships are filled with kindness and love. Kindness and love. I read a T-shirt not too long ago. That's my dog. I read a T-shirt not too long ago. It said, kindness doesn't cost you anything. Kindness does. So make sure your relationships are filled with kindness and love. Number 3, do you have a hobby or crafts? This was so funny. Nancy, we were doing after we got married, we were walking through something and she goes, I bet this one, I'm not sure if you're going to have an answer for this. And I go, okay, go ahead and ask me. And she goes, what is your hobby? And I, boom, immediately, I like to do woodwork. I like to work with my hands. And she goes, oh, I'm surprised. Surprised you knew that. No, anyway, it was funny. But do you have a hobby or craft? Is there something that you can do that is that gives you a break from stuff or people? Does anybody ever need a break from people? Just, yeah, Betty's going, yeah. Anybody need a break from people? Yeah. I mean, it's just like you're going, wow. I just can't wait to get home and hug my dog, right?
Even adults need time out.
Yes, they do. They do. Because not everybody plays nice, right?
That's
So, yeah. Okay, so have some hobbies. Have a craft, hobby, something that you can just get away and do. Number 4, get into nature. God, I'm a believer, so I believe that God created this, and the Bible says in Romans chapter 1 that he created this creation as a witness to everyone who's alive, whether they believe or not, that he is alive and well, and God's in control. Okay, so can you enjoy his nature? Can you get out and go for a walk? Get out and get some fresh air. Go on a hike. Ride a bike. Something. Get somehow, some way. Go out and sit on the porch. Right? Get some iced tea. Not sweet tea, but iced tea, non-sweet. Get some iced tea and just relax and enjoy the nature. Listen to the birds singing, right? Listen to the birds sing. Do they have birds in Arizona? Okay. Janet's all riled up now. Got her all riled up. Anyway, number 5, develop your spiritual side. How's that going for you? Are you digging in and developing your spiritual life? It is absolutely important. This is what I know about what God says in his word, that he'll go as deep as you want to. Right? He'll go as deep. He's not, we can say, well, I'm waiting for God. No, he's probably waiting on us. He's probably waiting on us. Right? He's probably waiting on us to go a little deeper. So your spiritual side. Number 6, time with others. Do you have groups that you a part of? I know Janet travels all over, goes to these drag race things, and I don't know. She goes she has these groups. What? Come on, Janet.
Oh, no, I went on a mystery trip.
Oh, mystery trip. Tell us about that mystery trip.
Yeah, I have a friend who plans all these trips. I mean, everything's included for one price, and we do not know where we're going. We're given a list of what to bring. We quote, pack light. And then we go on these adventures. Like the last one this year in February, we ended up in Las Vegas. And we had tickets to Cirque du Soleil, the Beatles' Love. We went to various places around Nevada. We went to FLM Chocolates,
Ooh.
which was not plan approved. We
Your
went
body
to
approved. Your body
the
wanted.
last remaining buffet that's in Vegas because COVID shut everything down, and there's only like one left. And we just explored around different places in Nevada, not necessarily casinos and all of that. Although we did go out to Fremont Street one night. That's interesting. But you know, it's like, it's usually trips that are close by. Like the year before, we went to another northern Arizona, I guess, on the border, because we were going to go to Utah and go to Best Friends Animal Sanctuary, but they were still shut down because of COVID. But yes, I do go to drag racing, Clark, but
Yeah.
only in Arizona. But I may have to venture out to other states because they're going to close. After 40 years, they're going to close our drag racing place.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
a freeway.
well, then that means you get to travel. There you go.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, I know. So, spend time with others, join some groups, get to know other people. You can also, if you're a coach or if you are wanting to help others get healthy, you also in that time can connect with others that can see you also transform your life. And so, spend time with others, join groups. And number 7, helping others. See if you can help somebody. See if you can. Don't make them, don't get to the place where they're your project or anything, but just, see if you can help, see if you can help other people. Right? See if you can help other people. So here's in closing. I know I didn't go all that long. That's okay. I probably talked too much. That's the way it is, I guess, too. But what you're doing in fulfillment is you're aligning your life. You're putting your life in alignment with what fulfills you, versus you're doing everything outside and fulfillment has to catch up. So you're putting in alignment. There's something about when our lives are in alignment that is amazingly peaceful, brings great joy when things are in alignment. So I heard a man say the other day, it's an old story, but a true one. He said, my wife's car, she said, you need to drive my car, honey, because so anyway, it was shaking all over the place. And he took it in. He says, well, your car's out of alignment. So, 15, 20 minutes later, the car was all lined up. Everything was fine. And that car just sailed right down the road. So is your life lined up with your fulfillment? Your fulfillment needs to be the lead. And I think that's hard to do sometimes. Anybody else think that's true? I think it's hard to do sometimes. I think you have to be pretty intentional every day about making sure that your life is in alignment with what fulfills you. It's a choice. It's a habit. And too many years that I've developed a bad habit of putting my fulfillment at the bottom of my life. Anybody relate to that? My fulfillment at the bottom of my life. And the last 5 years, that's not been the case. And it's been great. It's been wonderful to see my life change and to have fulfillment more and more. I haven't arrived, but more and more fulfillment lead. And I don't know if you can relate to that. I go back to this old habits. I go back to this old way of thinking. I go back to sometimes scarcity mindset. I go back to uh, um, a mindset that is bad habit mindset. When it comes to self-thought, anybody relate to that? Self-thought. And I have to really say, no, how am I going to speak to me today? Am I going to speak what God is speaking to me, or am I going to speak what all the other stuff is speaking to me? That make all sense? All right. Yes, Janet.
When you're talking about the self-talk, think about, would you say that to your best friend? Would you talk
That's
that way
good.
to your best friend?
That's good. Yeah. And hopefully you won't. You wouldn't, but yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Or would God really say that to you?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
The way we think sometimes, right?
Right. Yeah. I've been saying this the last year. I can't afford to have things in my head that God isn't saying. So, yeah. All right. We are done. Was this okay tonight? I know it was a little elusive, it's kind of non-tangible. But I think it's probably one of the most important values of Optavia. It really sets Optavia above and is apart from other wellness programs because it deals with this type of stuff. I don't know if Weight Watchers does. I don't think they do. Or Gnome does. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. But Dr. A really presses in that well-being has to be the lead. What goes on inside has to be on a road to health also, and it has to be leading the outside stuff. Any other thoughts, comments, concerns? Did I do okay without Nancy? Was it all right? I honestly am not as pretty as her for sure. Absolutely, not as pretty. And anyway, okay, was it all okay?
It was
Awesome.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
Totally.
she'll be back next time with bells on, I'm sure. She'll be.
Tell her we hope she feels better.
I miss you. She'll want to just make up all the words she lost. So
Hmm.
all right, we're gonna sign off, and you guys have a great week. Work on those two things, will you, for next week? Work on this week. Three things, 2 to 3 things that why your fulfillment, and is my life lining up with that today? That's a challenge, right? It is for me. Because you know what? Here's what happens. Life happens, right? Life happens, and I still have to have fulfillment. Even when life happens, there's still fulfillment that needs to happen, right? Okay.
And so then
Wow.
if your answer is no to that second question, is there solutions in there for, how, not necessarily step by step, but just solutions to how to realign that?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to talk about, and I think there are solutions. I think we have to return to those things, like, am I loving my? I think we can say these things, Daniela. I think we can say these things. Am I loving? Am I doing what's a passion for me?
Oh, so
We
going
can,
back to those 7
yeah, we
things.
go back to those things. Am I doing what's passionate? When life happens, am I doing what's passionate for me, or am I getting sidetracked onto a side street somewhere? So we can ask the question, okay, life is, can I say the word sucks right now?
Yeah.
Can I say that? Anyway,
Yeah.
life sucks right now, but are my relationships being filled with kindness and love? So we go back to those 7 things. Life is really tough, but I need to get into my hobby today. Or maybe I should go for a walk and breathe. Maybe I should sit on the porch and have an iced tea.
Mm.
Maybe I need to develop my spiritual side a little bit. This life is going crazy. Everything's chaotic. I better dig into the word a little bit today. I better dig into Jesus. He probably has an answer or two. You know, so we can take those 7 things and say, and they still lead when life happens. So, because what I tend to do when life happens and my intent isn't leading, then I go back into kicking the dog, or I don't really kick my dog. But anyway, doing, going back to bad habits, getting out of alignment, everything, but fulfillment. We go back to those 7 things, and there's other ones, but those are 7 you can start with, right? There's other ones. Those are top 7. All right. That's a good question though, Daniela. But I think that's how you do it. The biggest one for me is, am I loving, if my relationships have love and kindness in them? That's for me a big test. All right. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy 4th of July,
Happy
everybody.
4th of July. Yeah. Hey, be safe out there. I want you all back with all your appendages next week. Okay.
Okay.
Don't want you missing anything. All right.
It's amateur hour up here.
Amateur hour.
Yeah.